welcome back to another episode of the Pub's Testing Grounds. I am your host Nobler, because Eno is out today. And on today's episode, we'll be learning about gravity. Now before you all click off, please hear me out. You know how our show feels about safety, we completely ignore those kinds of guidelines. So we made an interesting lesson for us today. And to sum up what gravity is basically the force that keeps you nailed down to the floor and preventing you from going into outer space. But now on to one of the two main topics, projectile motion. Projectile motion is basically when you throw an object into the air and only gravity is acting on that object. Now let's start heading outside so we can throw an object and see projectile motion in action. And we'll be going over all the different equations to solve for acceleration, time, distance, etc. for projectile motion. Now before we start throwing the ball, there's a couple of terms we need to know, like initial velocity and stuff. Initial velocity is the starting speed of the object. And final velocity is the highest speed the ball has reached. Now let's finally see the chunk of metal go flying through the air. Ignore the explosion, that's just the amount of force he threw the ball with. When the object was flying through the air, perhaps you guys may have noticed that the speed was not affected at all. And that is because gravity only affects what happens vertically, not horizontally. The object was a bit small and I know it's a bit hard to see, but don't worry. I took pictures and I put arrows and stuff on it, so you'll be able to tell what's going on. The arm is the starting point of where the ball got launched from, and the initial velocity is 0 because the ball is going at 0 miles per hour before it got launched into the air. Here you can see the ball is ascending up into the air and traveling at a constant speed of 5 meters per second. This is the tip top of the throw, which means this is as high as the ball is going to get before it starts descending. Here the ball starts descending back down to Earth. And before we move on to free fall, we now have to start talking about the equations I mentioned earlier. Since I still don't have a clue about how to explain anything related to the equations or how to even do the equations, I will just put pictures up on the board and hope it means something to you. I'm sorry for not really knowing much about this stuff, but I try my best to study it for this video, but I failed horribly and I am sorry again. Now that we're done with projectile motion, we'll now be moving on with free fall. So what free fall is basically when a person or object is falling only under the force of gravity, and that's it. Now we can just jump off the building. As you can tell, you are constantly accelerating to the earth while free falling, and the only time you'll ever stop accelerating is when you reach terminal velocity. And to those who don't know what terminal velocity is basically when you are falling towards the earth and your acceleration stops because of air resistance. And like with projectile motion, I'll do the exact same thing. I took a picture and edited it and put a little line and stuff like that and made the motion a bit more visible because it's a bit hard to see in the video. As you can tell, the person falling through the air is accelerating at a constant speed. And I know it's not the most accurate picture of the speed he was falling, but I did try my best. I would usually start going over all the equations and stuff that's required to solve for distance, time, acceleration, and more other stuff when it comes to free fall. But unfortunately, I still don't have a clue what I'm doing about solving equations and stuff, so I'm just gonna end the video here. The video would have been done sooner if it wasn't for a certain someone who keeps getting their hands on rocket-propelled grenades, and sniper rifles, and decided to keep testing it out on us, like so. Wait, hang on. I completely forgot to mention something else I was supposed to mention because I didn't know it actually, we're supposed to do it. So let's hurry up and get this finished because the video is already supposed to be over and stuff. The one thing that we missed was linear motion. Okay, so linear motion is basically an object's natural movements going in a straight line and will continue to go in said straight line indefinitely because any other forces like gravity will not affect its speed. Now, since we're kind of low on time here, we can get any props or anything, so we're just going to have my assistant just run around in the parking lot for a bit. Since my assistant was hospitalized because he ran into a concrete wall, I'll quickly just go over what you've seen there and show another picture, okay? So what you saw besides an obvious teleportation was my assistant running in a straight line and nothing was able to stop him because gravity only affects what happens vertically, not horizontally. And since I still don't know anything about equations and I'm a bit of a hurry here, I'm just not going to talk about them at all. Alright, this is the Pup Show. See you on the next episode. Goodbye.